Warning! The Anime Egotists have opinions about stuff and other stuff. Please understand this while watching the video and know that no opinion is a fact, not even yours. So please enjoy the video. Or don't.
I'm Android17, and also Psyche's dad, and you're watching Anime Egotists.
And welcome back to the Anime Egotists, where even the yanderes don't have any interest in us. Yeah. So we got me, Foster, and I'm joined by my co-host, who I think is mildly checked out.
Only mildly. And I'm Williamson.
That's right. And as some of you recall, a few weeks ago, we decided to do a list of the cliches that we hate. Cliches that are just done, overused. Even when they're used right, they're just not that interesting and don't add much to the story.
Yeah. They're...
Okay, yeah. But today we want to be a little more positive. We want to shed light on the cliches that we don't mind nearly as much. The cliches that we find interesting, likable. Even when they're bad, they can still find ways to entertain us.
Yeah. It looks like... I have one that I'm going to go over that was actually on my hated list, but I'm going to give the reasons I also love it.
So you're one of those people. Okay.
Yes, I can be masochistic if I want to be.
Jesus, fine. Hey, well, with that in mind, so we want to get into our list of the cliches in anime that I guess you could say we love them. But anyways, I feel like I've been going first for the last couple ones. You go first with yours. Maybe start with the one that you were just mentioning.
All right, so the one that was on my previous list that's on this one is the last-minute arrivals and the big moments.
Okay.
When done right, you get the Dragon Ball Z Saiyan fight. People are there are actual deaths before the arrival. You feel the consequences. You know that these people are already dead. Again, they can be resurrected later on, but the fact that people actually died. So when there's consequences, a lot of times it'll be the armies marching towards each other, and all of a sudden the hero appears and wins the battle before there's any casualties. And it's like, that's the part I hate, is when the hero arrives before anything bad has happened and saves the day.
So you just want people to straight up get murdered?
Kind of. I want there to be consequences. I want them, when they arrive last minute, to save the day, but there are losses. There is a reason for it to be suspenseful. Are they going to make it in time to save anyone?
Yeah, I can definitely see that. That's part of what made the Naruto Pain arc so awesome. Because Kakashi was gone. And then just people were dropping like flies and then just be like, don't worry, I'll bring back everybody. I'm like, okay, yeah. But still, that was probably the peak of Naruto before it just mostly went downhill after that.
Yeah, because, there's so many that I'm trying to think of, where maybe they're beat up, but everybody's still alive, and then the main hero arrives, and then they kick the bad guy's butt or something, and it's over. It's like, well, now there's no consequences for being late or having some other issue you had to deal with.
Yeah, and the worst part is when the hero here's the thing. I mean, what the hero needs when they show up, they need to show up with a piece of toast in their mouth. That's what will make this feel so much more relatable.
All right. So what's your next one?
All right. So my first cliche, and if you know me by this point, you should know this. The fourth wall jokes. The jokes that pretty much when the characters blatantly address, yeah, we're in a TV show right now. Hell, there are people watching us right now. Well, just pretty much everything along those lines. Hell, Gintama themselves will even make fun of their own voice actors during the course of the show. Oh, just there's something about as long as it's not every single joke, then that's fine. But when they're done clever enough, I feel like that can add to a show. oh, like I feel like I'll kind of take the beating for this, but I feel like in an episode, I feel like somebody posted a picture of My Hero where somebody said, "Hey, move out of the way, extra," and someone says, "Hey, don't call someone an extra just because you don't know their name."
That is a line in that. I was actually thinking of Psyche K, because doesn't he talk to the audience a lot in that?
Almost every single episode.
But it makes sense with his powers and all that, so it fits there.
Yeah, it's like he's using telepathy, which is actually a kind of clever way of going about it.
Yeah, so I agree. Fourth wall jokes, when, like Psyche K, if they're part of the character and make sense, they work. When they do them sparingly in other anime, but they fit when someone's making a joke, like the My Hero Academia example you gave, those work.
Yeah.
I like fourth wall breaks.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily a necessity to the show, but it's a trope that I enjoy.
Yep, I can get 100% behind that.
All right, what's your next one?
So the next one is the hero rage moments. That's the moment when the main hero loses complete control. It's the Naruto nine-tailed fox mode. It's the Ichigo in Bleach when he goes like full hollow on everybody during one fight. They have no recollection of who they are. They're just out of control. They're pretty much a monster. Kill la Kill has a moment like that. So I just love those fights. They show that they're not perfect. They're trying to gain control of this power, but at this point probably don't have it.
Right. I mean, I have a little bit of a more subtle example. It's not exactly this, but in a sense it kind of is, because the thing everybody hates about Goku is that that people say, oh, it doesn't really feel like he loves his wife and loves his kids, which I completely disagree with. He just has a weird way of showing it. But to me, in the Future Trunks arc of Dragon Ball Super, where they learn Zamasu and Goku Black killed Goten and Chi-Chi, and instead of Goku being like, all right, I'm going to take you guys out, he's like, no, I'm going to kill you guys. I'm going to end your lives. And just that whole sequence of him losing it, that to me really helped with Goku's character, because obviously he loves his family, but he doesn't know the perfect way of showing it. But that right there was a different side of Goku we don't always get, and it's always appreciated to see it.
Yeah, the other one I can kind of think of also came from Super. It's both the movie and the Super anime, the not Battle of Gods. No, I guess it is Battle of Gods.
Right.
Where Beerus slaps Bulma and Vegeta goes like boosts in power. He loses control. He's been spending all this time trying to pacify Beerus to allow Earth to survive, and then he just all of a sudden he's able to at least punch Beerus for a few times.
My Bulma!
So yeah, that's kind of it. It's a little on the lower side, but that's another good example of someone losing control after their rage gets too much.
Right. They had a few instances in Gintama, like really early on of it happening, but they're so few and far between that they still feel special.
Mm-hmm. It's that moment that they just lose control. They're not that hero you've watched for 100 episodes, 30 episodes anymore. They're a monster pretty much.
Right. Okay.
All right. Your next one?
All right. My next one, this is going to be a little bit, I don't really know how to describe these characters, but I'm going to go with the kind of cheeky-like characters. Now, what I mean by that is I talk about Beelzebub a lot on this channel, but there's this one character named Natsume who doesn't really fight a whole lot. Like, whenever somebody's getting beat up, he's just kind of laughing or making a joke about it. He doesn't really do a whole lot that's villainous, even when his group is kind of on the more evil side or something like that. He kind of just makes jokes and quips and never really gets punished for it. But the second you get him into a fight, that's when he starts just destroying people. I love characters that just sort of talk shit, but nothing's really malicious about them. They're just kind of jokesters.
The first thing that came to mind when you started talking about that was the Dragon Ball Z abridged TN,
Yeah,
especially in the later arcs where
yeah,
he's not taking
that
part
could
in the
work too.
fights, and especially when he's fighting Cell. And
Oh God, Sal.
that's kind of what I pictured. Yeah, I can agree. I I can't think of a good example from an anime.
I mean, you could even say Kakashi to an extent.
But Kakashi actually takes part in a lot of the fights, and
True, but like I mean, also just more personality wise, like he's kind of a jokester. He kind of has the gift of gab when it comes to talking to people. Like in the one of the very early episodes when he says to Naruto, if the bait's obvious, don't take it.
okay, yeah, I can see that now. Yeah, I always considered Kakashi more serious, but it depends on the arc, I guess.
Maybe even Sai when he hinted Naruto has a small wee wee. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the kind of jokey characters that are arguably probably more powerful. Is
Yeah,
that kind
yeah,
of what you're going for?
yeah. Pretty. Yeah, that's probably a better, more roundabout way of describing it. Yeah, I could them.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I like them.
All right, who's your next one? What's your next cliche?
So the next one, and I know this is probably one that most people hate, but I actually kind of enjoy. It's usually when either the romantic lead or the romantic lead's rival arrives in an anime, and it's a surprise encounter, whether they run into each other at the corner or they jump down from a tree randomly. I know, but I've seen 3 or 4 anime have done that. Just the random encounter where you meet someone who you know is going to either have feelings for the protagonist or is trying to mess up the relationship for the main.
All right, explain that one. I understand what you mean, but I kind of want to know your reasoning. Like, why is that?
I don't know why. It's one of those that when done well, I find it very comedic because you know they're going to have some sort of reaction. Sometimes it can be annoying when they overplay either tsundere or blaming the other person for the issue, but then other times it can be really interesting way of introducing a character.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. I can get behind that to an extent. As long as they don't overdo, like this person just keeps popping in and out of nowhere, that then I'm if that started happening, then I'd start to hate it. But overall, it's not a cliche I love or hate. It's just sort of there for me.
I don't know why, I just like it, and that's why I put it on my list.
Nah, that's fine. That's definitely okay. If that's the case, I guess we should move on to mine that I admittedly don't know what I like, why I like it. In romance anime, the character who knows what they want. Like let me explain. Hey, like if you have a harem anime and there are like four girls who like this one guy, 3 of those girls are going to be like, oh, I don't like him. I don't like him, or one of them's probably too shy to say anything. Which that's another character I really like, but I'm sticking with this for now. But I appreciate the one girl who's like, yeah, I want you. Yeah, yeah, let's get married. Let's go out. Like I thought I would hate that cliche, but I'm like, I kind of you got balls. I respect that. You're probably not going to win, but I respect that. It's just I don't know, it just gets so annoying when people deny it over and over and over again. Because if it were my situation and a bunch of people denied, no, I don't like them, I'm like, oh, they don't like me. So, okay, I'm gonna scratch them off my list. And just, I don't know. It seems weird to me that more girls or guys in some cases aren't more forward with who they want to be with and what they want. So it's a refreshing change of pace for me.
Yeah, I can agree. I like that in anime. I think they mainly go with the other, where most of them don't know why they want to be with the main character, is because it's supposed to be kind of realistic. Because a lot of people are so awkward when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, thanks
So
for reminding me of high school, jackass.
Trust me, I hated that I remembered it as well.
Yeah, but overall, just the girl or the guy who like steps up and is like, "Hey, I want to be with you. Let's do this." And I was like, "Yeah, I can vibe with that."
I can understand it. Yeah, I agree.
All right. So, do you have a next one, or are we just gonna sit here for 50 awkward minutes?
I'll just move on to my next one. So that one, the next one I have is fluctuating times and fights. Again, a good example is the Dragon Ball Z um, Super Tournament of Power that lasted like 50 episodes, but was only supposed to be 40 something minutes. But I mean, there's so many examples where I don't know. I just like the fights take like 5 episodes, but it's been 10 minutes and they've had like full conversations where no action's happening. I just find it hilariously how much they break the world.
You know, I honestly thought you were going to bring up the Goku Frieza fight. Whenever Frieza would say, "You have 5 minutes," and I'm like, "No, no, you don't. Do you? Does Frieza? Do Frieza's attack have a formula to where X equals Death Ball plus time for? No, he doesn't know. He's pulling this. He's pulling this out of nowhere. He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
That's another good example where, I mean, that was like 20 episodes from the time the Death Ball hits the planet to uh, the end of the fight, pretty much.
And the abridged series did a pretty good moment where it's like, question: do you know what a minute is? Of course I do. It's like, I don't think you do. I'm like, no. I'm like, I doubt he does.
But again, it's one of those. It doesn't add suspense, but when the anime does it well, it makes you be able to follow 100 different people over 5 hours, even though it's only like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh has done a lot of those duels. Like in the second ever episode, that Yugi has that virtual duel with Pegasus, and it's because remember they're dueling like through the TV, and Yugi summons Skull because obviously that's gonna save the day. And the second he summons it, time's up, and it's like, sorry, I'm gonna take your grandpa. He's mine now.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a cool trope that I've seen done well. Again, it can be overdone when you have fights that like you've got 1 minute to save the world, and then it lasts 20 episodes. Again, it can drag stuff out,
Yeah,
unfortunately. But when they mix in the action and good dialogue, it works.
I agree. I can subscribe to that. Like you guys should be subscribing to this channel.
Just kidding. Go subscribe somewhere else. Why would you bother with us?
Hey, don't tell them that.
Remember, we're synonymous with low quality.
Don't tell them that either. Yeah. Me next?
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be an easy one. Over the top attacks. Like the spirit bomb, the Rasen Shuriken, the All for Detroit, whatever it's called. That one.
Okay, yeah. The
Just
United States of Smash.
Sure, why not?
That's the big one right now.
Uh, but basically, just over the top attacks, some of which have ridiculous names. The Gallic gun, just a whole bunch of ridiculously stupid nose hair themed attacks.
I completely agree. I love the big attacks. Again, I wish more of them probably actually finished.
Yeah, because a lot of them get nerfed over time.
I'm just thinking back, like, when was the last time the Kamehameha wave actually won a fight?
I mean, it knocked Kefla out of the tournament. But
I
then again,
guess
he did
so.
like right in her face.
But isn't that the one where he used it to ride on her beam?
Yes, that was so awesome.
So yeah, that one may not be the best example, but it seems like yeah, they get nerfed after enough time that oh well, this attack used to be the most powerful attack you knew, and now well, you can't win using it anymore.
Yeah, but like it just gets you excited, and let's not all pretend like we didn't all try to do these moves when we were younger.
Younger?
I was about to
I think
say,
most of us still try to do it
I was about
now.
to say, I'm 24 and I'm still trying. Like I watch, even when I go back and rewatch Naruto, I still get hyped whenever Neji does the 64 palms attack. Like I count alongside with them. Like go 2, 4, 6, go, yes. And then people just get up from it. Like it's whatever. Anyways, as long when they get nerfed, I hate it. But for the time being, like when they first show up, they're always cool to see.
Yeah, and I like how that they're all different. They may look similar or have similar setups, but in the end they might be bright colors that are completely different, or could be like the 64 or 64 palms jutsu. They could be even physical moves sometimes like that.
Yeah, heck. Yami's ultimate attack in Black Clover lets him slice through dimensions. That's flipping and that's freaking insane.
Yeah, especially when they're first introduced. That's like the best moments. I still remember watching, because I watched Dragon Ball first. I know a lot of our generation watched Z first,
Or
but I
the
remember,
Abridged series.
or yeah, but I remember starting with Dragon Ball and watching not Professor Roshi, Master Roshi do the Kamehameha, and then Goku manages to do it, but it's like it flips a car over. That's about it.
And now he can pretty much destroy a planet with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, over the top attacks, I practiced them when I was little. I practice them now. I'll probably be practicing them when I'm 64, but then we'll have to do something about it. Then you might have to just finish it.
Well, you'll finally master it by then. You'll actually manage to do it. So
I will hold you to that.
all right.
Anyways, your next cliche.
Honorable mention first, or my final actual one? Because I only have.
Right. Oh, that's right. Honorable mention. Let's do that.
All right. Mine is the transformations. I I love them. Again, sometimes they get overused. I'm kind of starting to get that way with Dragon Ball, especially, where okay, now they're just like it went Super Saiyan Grade 2, then actual Super Saiyan 2, then all this, and it's like okay, it all seemed to progress in one way. Then they had Super Saiyan 4, but that was made non-canon, and then they brought in God Key, and then so it's just all over the place. So sometimes they can get overdone, but I really do like transformations, especially when they're first shown.
Yes, and I'm going to add a little bit to this. I like when the transformations feel different. Like for example, well, Super Saiyan is a transformation, but like the Majin transformation Vegeta had was completely different. It was seemingly more sinister and evil.
Mm-hmm.
Well, likewise in for example, in Yu Yu Hakusho, Yusuke's transformation, it's kind of freaky looking, and it changes him a little bit. And if correct me if I'm wrong, but in Bleach, doesn't Ichigo have a transformation that's kind of more like darker and sinister?
So there's kind of two different ones.
Like a mask of some kind or something?
Yeah, that's his holocation transformation. But then there's also in there they can transform their swords, which their Zanpakuto is what they're called, into different forms to make them more powerful. So that I like that as well, those transformations, especially because besides I think one instance where they add one, they really don't add much for in the way of transformations. Once you unlock it, they kind of you can grow stronger with that transformation, but you don't get another one after a certain point.
No, I think that's a good way of handling it. Heck, in Black Clover right now, Asta has a transformation, and it's good for fighting, but for everything else, it's kind of causing everybody problems.
Yeah,
it adds a story and a dimension to the transformation.
Yeah, it's kind of the same how we were talking about the different special attacks earlier. Because, I mean, Super Saiyan's pretty much nerfed at this point. it's not powerful enough to do anything anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, my honorable mentions.
I'll let you go.
Okay, so these technically aren't like cliches, I guess, necessarily within the show, which is kind of why they're honorable mentions. But I'm going to start off gag series. When done right, I love gag series like the Rock Lee Show, Attack on Titan, Junior High, that sort of thing. Hey, now for Naruto, it kind of makes sense. Naruto's a little bit more on the silly side sometimes, but Attack on Titan in particular gets kind of interesting because when you see all these people dying, getting stomped and shot and eaten by these horrifying looking titans, it's really kind of jarring and a little hilarious to see them just go through junior high like nothing's wrong.
Yeah, the other one I can think of off the top of my head is the Isekai Quartet it's all about like the different isekai going to school together. So it's very similar to Attack on Titan, middle school or whatever it's called.
I was about to say, we talk about this a lot, but if Pokemon ever did do a series of the game character or is more focused on them, I feel like it would be something like that, just like a gag show where they're going to school together.
They almost introduced that in that Pokemon the movie I Choose You, where Ash falls into another dimension and he's a regular student at school.
Oh, jeez. I love how the worst nightmare you can have in that show is going to school with a bunch of people. Actually,
and we got a whole season of that.
I was about to say that's actually pretty realistic. Never mind, that's pretty true. But yeah, so if the Pokemon Company ever steals that idea, we know what to do about it. Absolutely nothing. And I'll take the beating for this next one because it can lead to mixed results, but I'm going to say it. English dub openings.
I actually completely agree. I miss the English dub openings.
Yeah, like, because Pokemon has some great ones. Yu-Gi-Oh has some pretty damn good ones. And now, granted, here's the thing. Here's how I'm a little finicky about it, because when they take a Japanese song and like translate into English and do that, I'm not as huge on that. But when they just do their own song and opening, that's what I'm a lot more interested in. I don't know. I kind of miss when shows do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the 90s. They spent the money to hire someone to write a new song for them. Again, they kind of have dropped away from that. Every so often you'll meet another anime that does it, but it's become very rare.
Heck, I mean, I remember Beyblade had its own English opening, and here's the thing. The lyrics did like little to nothing to explain what the show was about, but it brought the energy. Like a lot of the English openings had like a good amount of energy that it brought to the show, and even if you didn't like the songs themselves, they got you excited for what was next. Sometimes anime openings nowadays are kind of slower and somber, which can help, but I want to be excited. Like, excite me with something.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I liked the Dragon Ball Super, because while we were watching it, I think we watched the sub, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We watched the sub.
But I also went back and watched some of it with the dubbed, and they redid the openings. Again, I know you said you weren't as big a fan of that.
It just depends sometimes.
But that was nice to hear them singing in English for that. One of my favorite anime openings is We Are, and I really do the Japanese version, but I do like the English dub version from the more recent dub. And then there's also the rap, but I don't know how many people like that.
I was about to get to the One Piece rap. No, I was about to say, what are you talking about? The One Piece rap is the best example. It's the best example of an English opening. Come on.
But I'm trying to think. I mean, the only one that I could think of that's still around that doesn't just play the Japanese opening is Pokemon. They're the only ones that
I can't
still do their own.
I can't think of too many others that do it.
Yeah, I mean, every so often you'll get one, but it's become rare.
It's something about anime. It's something about anime that I miss. Hell, the Zatch Bell opening is pretty underrated in English.
But then you also do have some that are pretty bad. I'm recently gone back and started watching Zoid's Chaotic Century.
Oh, jeez.
The opening is literally just some guy screaming Zoids. I'm not joking.
That sounds pretty ass. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's not even like that. There's even extra animation. It's just animation cut from the uh, show, and then every so often a guy yells Zoids.
Zoids. But now that I think about it, if there are two franchises that sometimes will switch, like sometimes they'll have Japanese openings, sometimes they'll have English openings, and that's Persona and God Eater. Persona in particular, like almost always has English openings, even in the even in the sub version.
I didn't know that. They're on my watch list. I think for Persona 4, the Golden animation, and then Persona 5's animation.
Yeah, we got to talk about Persona 5, the animation sometime. But anyways, like let's get to our last cliches because let's get to our last cliches. What's yours?
So mine is the enemy turned ally. I really like this. It's done so many different ways recently. I mean, when it came to Dragon Ball, it was always Goku inviting them to fight or come back another time.
Yeah.
But then you get Fairy Tail where they still almost hate each other, but have become allies because something happened.
Right. And Naruto, it's just people going through trauma and stuff like that, basically.
Well, that one has friends turned enemies turned allies because pretty much everybody at one point was an ally of someone that's part of the Leaf Village, and then turned into a bad guy, then turned into a good guy again.
Yeah, I guess you could technically say that with Gaara, but yeah, well, we talked about before on our Naruto Dream Game video, like how the hell were these people, the Sand Village, so easily forgiven? But like I said, we love Gaara, so it's cool. But if he goes back to being a villain because of that hair, I can't really blame him for that.
Yeah, especially if it turns out that Naruto was the one who recommended the barber.
Jesus. But going back to that though, I like especially if like a villain decides to become good at something along those lines. It's not just simply hey, welcome aboard. It's hey, we're watching you, and in some cases the hero will be like, you have to redeem yourself. You have to go out of your way to do good acts for the rest of your life. Like we're not letting you off the hook just because you say you're good now.
Yeah, and I mean, as I said, it could be played out like, as I said, Dragon Ball, where Piccolo, Tien, Yamcha were all bad guys in their original arcs, and then became good guys and part of the Z Fighters. So there's like that where they join the team in the end, but then you might also get I like it especially when it's like the bad guy's lieutenant, the next in command, sees that, oh my god, I've been working for the wrong side, and all of a sudden like sacrifices himself to make it possible so that the heroes can defeat the bad guy. So even that I consider like the redemptive moment of an enemy becoming an ally to save the day.
Yeah, I can definitely vibe with that. Heck, Power Rangers does that a lot, and it's not technically an anime, but it's basically a Japanese property, so might as well be.
Yeah, and it's written. Some of them are written by the same people who write anime. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's more of an anime than Avatar at this point, but whatever.
Yeah. And your final one?
This is This is another one of those that I'm not completely sure why it's on my list, but a few recent shows I've seen the light when it comes to this. The Chunibyo character. You don't know what I mean by that, do you? Or are you surprised by it?
More surprised. Isn't that the little girl character usually?
Not exactly. Okay, what do you think I mean by Chunibyo?
I'm really confused. Just go ahead and explain it.
Okay, the Chunibyo, for those of you who don't know, my co-host apparently, also in this case, is the character who's kind of delusional. The character who may think they're tougher than they actually are, or may think they have some secret power, or almost like they're a superhero, something along those lines, and basically delusional to the fact that your world's probably completely normal. There's not a whole lot going on with it. Do you know? Are you picking up on what I'm saying at this point?
Yeah, I was off on. I don't know why I thought it. I was thinking like the chibi characters, like this, where they make a character smaller.
Oh no, that's neither on my good or bad list. It's just sort of there. But like, think Kaido from Psyche K, the kid with the bandages on his hand, like that, basically.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that. I guess Mr. Satan can almost be classified as that, especially early on when he didn't know that these people actually had key powers.
Definitely so. I guess what I like about this is because we get a lot of serious characters in anime, but it's kind of nice to have a character who is, I guess, kind of more in touch with their inner child. And Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions did probably the best job ever when it comes to representing a Chunibyo of why they are the way they are, how they go about making friends and going through life. Well, mainly in season 1. Season 2 is kind of all over the place, but we can talk about that another time. It's not too annoying, but it provides a little bit of humor, and it can provide deeper character moments for them.
Yeah, I agree. Once you explained it and I understood, they make it, especially in more serious anime, they can make a good contrast for a good comedic relief character kind of thing, just to add something to the story.
Heck, I think technically, if we really start to think about it, Gligar Man is a Chunibyo, but he's not a good example. He's not a good example. He's just... I like Gligar Man. Like Gligar Man. But is that everything we have?
Yeah, you actually, through this video, I may have another idea for a video we could do, so...
Oh, we can talk about that once we're done recording.
Yep, so I think for now, we're pretty much done for this episode.
Okay, ladies, gentlemen, and others, just thanks for listening and making it this far somehow. So let us know, what cliches do you love? Do you just, and like, for example, well, if there are some cliches of ours that you don't really like, explain why. And just list some that you like and on the right circumstances. Just anything you want to talk about in terms of cliche. Hey, and we'll be releasing our next video, who knows? Who knows at this point?
Yep.
But anyways, this has been Foster.
And Williamson.
And this has been the Anime Egotists Bias Roundtable, where even the yandere don't want us. And with the Anime Egotists, if you disagree, you're wrong.
You're watching Anime Egotists! And actually, I'm a better trainer than Brendan. Oh, come on, May. A little humility?